Hello, Tim from Fair Play Now on the 7th of January 2024. So I've just got this thought for you. Let's say you've got a relative, right? And let's say they're a pilot, a captain, well, a long established captain for an airline. And when they're off duty, they kind of come and visit you and you're chatting and talking away. And you, or they rather, sort of confidentially say, look, shouldn't really be telling you this, but it's a well-known fact in the aviation industry that this particular type of plane or this particular airline are a bit dodgy and avoid them. That's my advice to you as a professional. So if you had a relative like that and they were giving you advice like that, would you sort of think, blimey, okay, well, he obviously knows what he's talking about. He's an airline captain. Yeah, maybe I'll avoid that particular type of aircraft. Would you do that? Which to me would be the logical approach. Or would you sort of, look at maybe an article on the BBC or in the mainstream media somewhere that says that this particular type of plane is perfectly safe and that rumours about it are totally unfounded. And would you then go back to your relative and say, look, mate, I think you're crazy. You're one of these dangerous conspiracy theorists. How dare you criticise this particular type of plane? It's perfectly safe because I've seen it being said that it is on the BBC. And that would be pretty ridiculous, wouldn't it? Now, also, let's say that you've got a relative who's a car mechanic. They're a long-term car mechanic, they've done it sort of man and boy sort of thing. They're now about, 50 years old, got a ton of experience in the trade, and they're saying to you, because they know you're looking to buy a new car and maybe considering a particular type of car, and they turn around and say, mate, nah, don't sort of go for that one. They're sort of a pile of junk, those cars are. We have so many problems with them. They're always sort of blowing head gaskets and breaking cam belts, and they cost thousands to repair. When that kind of problem happens, you're way better off just avoiding that. There's a lot of better stuff out there for you to be buying. Again, would you just sort of logically think, well, okay, he's got my best interests at heart because he's a relative and he's telling me this as a highly experienced person in the trade? Or again, will you go to some mainstream media publication that's telling you that the car's perfectly fine, even though they're likely to tell you that because they have that particular manufacturer advertising in their publication a lot of the time, and they don't want to lose that advertising revenue, so you always know there's that little bit of conflict of interests going on there, and you sort of think, well, maybe I'll take despite all of that obvious conflict of interest, I'll take the mainstream media's advice and go back to my mechanic relative and tell them, no, sorry, I think you're a crazy conspiracy theorist for coming out with this stuff against this car, because this mainstream media publication, whatever it is, are telling me that this car is perfectly fine. So I've chosen two different examples there which are quite frankly ridiculous, and it's pretty much a no-brainer who you would believe. So why is it that when it comes to certain other things, I'm not really going to tell you what the particular thing is. You can probably guess if you're any kind of long-term viewer of this channel, or even if you're not, you can probably guess what I'm going on about. If you had a relative who was telling you that something wasn't great and they happen to be in, well, let's say they're a nurse, again, what would you do? Whose advice would you take? Well, whereas with the other two examples I gave you, it'd be totally ridiculous to take the side of the mainstream media. Why is it over someone who kind of loves you and has got your best interests at heart and who's in the trade? That would be totally ridiculous. But why, when it comes to this particular industry and trade that I'm talking about, the people went totally against that and totally believed the mainstream media and their propaganda, even though there's obvious conflicts of interests there, and many people went against people who were actually in the game, a nurse or something like that, telling them that, hang on a minute, things don't seem to be adding up as far as I'm concerned about this. And then the relative turns around and just calls them a crazy conspiracy theorist, a dangerous conspiracy theorist. And how absolutely ridiculous, it's just, when I look back upon these things and some of these things that happened, I just still can't believe how mad people went, how crazy people went. It's just absolutely bizarre, isn't it? So anyway, just a few thoughts there for a Sunday for you. I haven't been around with that many videos this week. I've missed out the last couple of days. To be honest with you, I am seriously lacking energy at the moment. I don't know what it is. It's probably because, well, we've had quite a nice day today, sunny day today, but most of this week, this first week in 2024, has been very dull and dismal and grey and bleak. And I don't know about you, when I get to the end of a year and the start of a new year, I kind of get to the end of the year, the previous year, and I think to myself, well, that's good. I've got to the end of another year, more or less intact. That's brilliant. And then it flips over into the start of January, and then I just think, oh, I've got it all to do all over again now. And for some reason, that kind of is energy draining for me. I don't know why, but I just have a serious lack of motivation when it gets to early January, and it normally takes me, well, the older I get, it seems to be taking me longer and longer to kind of kick-start myself and get myself going into the new year. So yeah, feeling a bit drained at the moment, feeling a bit of a lack of energy at the moment. Hopefully that will sort of lift very soon. I've got a few bits and pieces to do this week, obviously normal work, but one or two interviews to be doing this week and a couple of other things planned. So I'm hoping between those things it's going to kickstart me, and then I'll be sort of roaring my way into the rest of 2024. But how about you? Have you been suffering a bit of a lack of energy, loss of energy over the last sort of few days since the start of the year, turn of the new year? If so, let me know in the description box, or the comment section below, should I say. And yeah, with those few thoughts, gonna leave you there, and yeah, I'll be back very soon. Tim from Fair Play Now, thanks for watching.